Hey, what's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My new subscribers, thank you and welcome. In this video here, I wanted to, lately I've been watching a lot of videos on, well, actually I should say on YouTube. They've been popping up like crazy, and that is going into the red light district areas. Like I'm going to talk on Quezon City, where a lot of that is taking place. It's rather interesting. Now I know that that's something that's been going on there for a very long time. With these girls that pretty much are out there on the street dressed a certain way, looking to make money. I'm thinking, okay, well, what is it exactly that makes these girls want to do this with their life? And I can only think of one thing, and it would be poverty. Poverty, with not having any way of making any kind of money through working a regular job. A lot of these girls don't have they don't have education. See, in the Philippines, in order for somebody to get a job, you have to prove that you have graduated high school, what have you. You got to actually show that you have a diploma showing that you have the education. And unfortunately, a lot of these girls don't have that. So they turn to getting into dressing themselves down, going out, hitting the streets, and waiting for that opportunity with a foreigner or what have you. But a lot of these videos have been popping up like crazy, and it's actually kind of sad. It's sad that it's like that. Now you have this all over the globe. I mean, you got prostitution everywhere. And that's exactly what it is, folks. Prostitution. I know. But, they say a lot of these girls are in the range between 18 to 22. Well, from 18 years of age all the way up to, I guess, in your 40s. But it's really... it's a very popular, these red light districts are extremely popular with foreign men, where they go over and they pretty much know they're gonna find some action. You know what I mean? If you're willing. It is said that if you are somebody that's not very attractive, that you're gonna pay a lot more than somebody that's very attractive. If you're very attractive, you may not have to pay a whole lot of anything to get together. But it's I don't know, man. It just really kind of got me. And they're also saying that in time, as these girls are doing these things, eventually it psychologically brings them down to the point to where that's all they know. That's their, they don't even try anything else. This is basically what they will do most of their life. You also have these girls over there, it's to my understanding, where they're in these establishments and they're controlled. You pretty much belong or are owned by someone that may own a club or what have you. There was one video that I had seen where this gentleman, I believe he was from Australia, he got to know this girl, and he really liked her. He really was hoping that it would lead into a relationship. But when he approached, I guess she worked in this bar, and I know she worked in this bar, and when he went in to get her, because supposedly she was getting off of work very soon, I guess she got with him inside the bar, and she started to walk out with him, and the owner came up and grabbed a hold of this girl and pulled her away from him and said, "You're not leaving with him." And I guess they look at it as these foreign men are coming over and they're stealing their best girls or their whatever. So he didn't know how to deal with that. He didn't know what was going on. He sat outside the bar waiting for her to come out. And now he's sitting there, and it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, and she still has not come out of the bar. So they were basically holding this girl from walking out of the club so that she could be with this foreigner. You know, once again, that's, in my opinion, that's holding somebody against their will. It's almost the same as being whatever. Still, I mean, does somebody have that right? I don't know under what terms that she had to agree to in order for something like that to happen. But clearly, she was forbidden for seeing this foreigner. Now, I guess if he had come in and wanted services, well, that would have been okay, because, you know, the person that owns the club or what have you would have set that up probably themselves. But because she was more than willing to walk out with him freely, they would not allow that. And I thought that was really, what a crazy, bizarre, scary situation, I'm sure, for that young girl. I just, you know, I don't understand. I guess I do kind of understand why they're doing it. If they have no other way of making any money, but why would somebody want to stoop to that level with their life? You know what I mean? I mean, the dangers behind that. Yeah, I don't know. I know. I say that, guys, because a lot of people say that's disgusting. You know, you have chewing and you're spitting, and that's just disgusting. Well, you know what? It's better than smoking. But anyhow, also, it's something that is illegal, but yet it is also kind of like under a controlled type environment. And what I mean by that is, a lot of these girls, I guess if they are established, like working through an establishment, they must go and get checked out, and they must have a health card proving that they are disease free and what have you. So for something that's illegal but yet it's controlled in some ways, that's kind of bizarre in itself. Why am I talking about this? Because it's such a wide problem all over the globe. You have prostitution everywhere. Here in the United States, it is definitely illegal, and most women that are picked up are taken to jail, and they usually don't stay for very long. They usually keep them for I don't know if it's 24, 48 hours or what have you, and then they're released. But you have that on record. You got a record now for prostituting. But because it's such a simple, easy way for making money and putting money in your pocket, they continue to keep going back into it. So you have a lot of women that end up continuously going into jail for prostituting. They don't know or have any other means. Instead of maybe trying to straighten your life out and clean yourself up and go and attempt and try to get yourself a normal, regular job. Yeah, I understand you're not going to see the money probably like what you see with doing what you do, but I would think that you would have a little more respect for yourself, your body, than to go out and put yourself out there like that. It's just, man, I don't know. In the Philippines, I know, in the Philippines, you see a lot of, at least when I'm there, I've seen a lot of older men, like grandpa older men with these young girls. And I don't know, do I agree with it? Well, who am I to say who is right for anybody? But it does kind of churn the stomach a little bit when you see somebody that is that old with a young girl walking hand in hand. I don't know. I mean, it almost seems to me like it's like normal. It's just a normal thing over there. Usually most places that you go, you see that. You see an older man with a young girl. And I'm not talking like a 12-year-old. I'm talking like probably in their 20s. But a lot of these men, they go over to the Philippines to retire, and they find themselves being lonely, and then they get involved with red light districts, and eventually down the road possibly being scammed by this person that claims that, I will love you forever and I am the one for you, and they fall for that stuff. And now, because you have shared pretty much your whole life with this person in time, you lost your banking, the money that was in your account is gone. I mean, it happens, guys. It happens, and it's unfortunate. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, here in the United States, things are so different. I know. You don't get that kind of attention as a man. And this is my what I have evaluated being in the Philippines 4 times now. I have seen where it didn't matter how old you were. An example would be when my wife and I was at the mall. She was getting her hair done, and I had time to just do whatever. I would walk around the mall, and then I would eventually go and just sit down, and I would wait a little bit. Well, while I'm sitting there waiting, I would have these women come up to me and ask if, where am I from? And I would explain that I'm from the U.S. And are you here alone? And of course, no, I'm waiting for my wife. And then the whole tone changes at that very moment, where they may just say like, welcome to the Philippines, whatever. But if you're single and you're over there just chilling, you could very easily fall into those little traps with women that don't mean well. And I'm not saying they're all like that, but I'm just saying you could very easily fall into that trap. It's already happened over there numerous times, where there was actually a few foreigners that have taken their own lives because they've been taken for everything that they have. Everything, which meant they had no source of income at that time. They had no possible way of having money to leave the country to go back home. and they were basically stuck. They were stuck there because this person claimed that you're my rock, you're my everything, I'll be everything that you want me to be. And it turned out that it wasn't like that. In time, they would take you for all that you have. That's pretty low. That's a terrible, terrible thing to do to somebody, but it happens. Here in the U.S., men don't get that kind of attention. You're not approached like that. Here, it's so much harder, I think, for a guy or a female to find that match, to find that perfect match for them. And I've noticed with in the field of work that I do now that there are so many women here that are scarred from past relationships that it's extremely hard to prove that you are a great guy, that you know what I mean. So it's a very touchy thing. It just is. It's hard for guys to find the right match here. The same as for women. So they go into these countries where it's so much easier for them, because most of these girls, they see a foreigner and what are they're thinking, this guy's got money, he's a foreigner, he's got to have money. And that's the mentality, that's where the state of mind that they're in. So I can honestly tell you that's not true. Not true. Not every guy that goes into the Philippines has got a ton of money. But you do have some that do. So I just think that it's such a problem over there with this. Just the times that I've been there, I mean, you have all these women that walk past you and they're just giving you like this, look, and smile, and even though they're very shy, they probably wish that they could stop and talk to you. Here, you don't even get looked at. That's the reality of what it's like here. But you you got to do your homework, man. If you're looking for that perfect mate, you're not going to find a perfect mate. But if you're looking for that companionship with somebody, you got to do your homework. You gotta scope it out, man. You gotta take your time with it, not be jumping into everything that you see. Of course they're gonna be nice to you. Of course they're gonna be nice. I mean, why wouldn't they be? In these videos, I see a lot of these women approaching these men, and they're just basically, acting like they knew you forever, and you're like the best of friends, and I know. And then you have the ones that'll stand there and say, massage, would you like a massage? I have a room. And you have guys that, eventually, they will also say happy ending, if that's what you want. So, you know what, man, me personally, I'm against that sort of thing. I don't believe that anybody should be putting themselves out there like that. It's dangerous. You could either end up, beat up, killed, end up with a disease. And, the crazy thing about it is, if these girls are, if most of these girls that are under some sort of control have to go and get medical cards to prove this and that, you're actually pulling in men that you don't even know. You have no clue. Now, it was to my understanding that a lot of this really got started back during the World War II era, where there was a lot of military personnel that was in the Philippines, and that's, to my understanding, that's how a lot of this all got started in the Philippines. Now, I'm not just cracking down on the Philippines. Taiwan's another one. That's another area over there where it's big. Now, I don't know exactly where it is, but there are some places where prostitution is legal. It is legal. You see a lot of this in Taiwan too. A lot of it. You have the same thing. You got the red light districts, where you have, you know, the Philippines, Taiwan, a lot of these Asian countries, here in the U.S., all over the globe basically. But you have the younger girls, and then you have the lady boys that are out there pushing themselves. And it's, to my understanding, all I can talk and say about is the Philippines, because I've been researching it. But eventually they say that these men end up with lady boys because they are so attractive looking. They're just very attractive, and they look like women. They look like women, and they find themselves wanting to be with the lady boys more than with just the female. So it's very interesting. Yeah, I don't know, guys, but that ain't for me. But anyhow, just wanted to touch on that a little bit. I think it's a growing problem. I know it's been that way for many, many years. But you know, what is your take on that sort of thing? I mean, have you ever experienced going into these red light districts? Because as soon as it turns dark, man, them streets open up. They come alive with that stuff. And, you know, a lot of times, you know, they go into these clubs and they're drinking, and, you know, alcohol leads to other things. You're not thinking straight because you're under the influence. You know, we know how that works. And then you wake up the next morning and you realize, what did I just do? Or what happened? Or you go back for more the next night. So what's your take on that sort of thing? I'd like to hear from you. I may actually start going a little bit more live, doing a little more streaming. I'm thinking about doing that. The reason, guys, that I haven't been is because when I do go live, I don't have a ton of people coming on. And if it's only 2 or 3 people, I don't feel that it's worth my effort to stay on live when I really want to get a good conversation thing going and talk about important things. It doesn't matter really to me what it is, but if there's anything that you guys want to talk about, we can just leave me a comment. Let me know what it is that you'd like to talk about, and I will go live. I'll set up the date on letting you know when it's going to happen, and we'll get something going. So until then, thank you to all my new subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, please do so and hit the bell so you know when the next video is coming. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Until then, peace out.